I'm Brianna.
And I'm Akira.
And you're watching
Dante's Boxing Nation.
The following program may contain language of an adult nature. Listener discretion is advised.
Views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of alltalkradio.net.
Brothers and sisters! Brothers and sisters! I don't know what this world is coming to.
Hey yo, check this out, this is Flavor Flav, and if you want the whole truth, and nothing but the whole truth, so help the whole truth. Hey yo, you better listen to Dante, baby. Dante!
What's going on, guys, and welcome to another great edition of the Dante's Boxing Nation Show. I am your host, Dante, and we got another good show for you guys, as always. First things first, let me go ahead and introduce the DBN panel. I got my man, Boxingego, my girl, Miss Boxing Baby, and my boy, Eric Morales. Let's go ahead and get into it. Also, I got my man, George, in the building as well on the ones and twos. Let's get into it, guys. So anyway, I want to start, guys, real quick. Let's talk about this past weekend. Obviously, we had some real good fights. Viktor Postol knocking out Matthysse in the 10th round. But I want to start with Adrien Broner making his return back at the 140-pound division against Oliver Diev, knocking him out in the 12th round. Miss Boxing Baby, let's start with you. I thought it was an impressive performance. You know, Adrien Broner, he always looks good at 140. He looks more confident. He just looks more of a complete fighter to me. I mean, but at the same time, he was in there with an opponent who was throwing like maybe one or two punches at a time, and he wasn't really pressuring Adrien Broner. I still don't know how Adrien is going to deal with pressure at the 140-pound division. What was your take? How did you rate his performance, Miss Boxing Baby?
First of all, I'm going to say congratulations to him for becoming the new WBA champion, fourth division championship for him. Salute to that. I think that he's going to do excellent at 140. You know, I just feel that 147 is a little bit too small for that division. The guys up there are big. I think he's going to fit right in here. This is like his third or fourth fight at this weight. I think that he's going to make some noise. I think he looked amazing on Saturday. I mean, people say they didn't know the guy, but he was a pretty decent guy. You know, he had the one loss that was questionable to Jesse Vargas.
Yeah, yep.
And it wasn't a horrible fight. He was pretty known. I think that it was a good fight for him to come off a loss, come back and fight that dude. And I think that he's going to make some noise at 140. Whether it's against Ashley Field paying for his first defense or against Jesse Vargas, whoever, I think he's focused now. He's not playing any games. I don't see him being beat.
Yeah. And I mean, the big question is he going to be able to fight against other fighters, you know, with other promoters, you know, like Top Rank, because that's where a lot of the good 140-pounders are. You also have, what's his name? Jesus, I'm forgetting his damn name. What's the other guy's name? He's also fighting under Al Heyman. What is his damn name? Okay, I get it. It'll come back to my head in a minute. But but he looked good. Boxingego, I mean, what did you think, man? And what do you think would be next for Adrien Broner? How did you rate his performance?
I thought he looked good. I mean, people are going to hate. A lot of people, Broner has a lot of radical fans. But you can't complain. The man was coming off a loss at a catchweight with Tom Porter, and he was thrown into a title shot, and he looked dominant. Whereas Jesse Vargas, who's been in there with Timothy Bradley, good, solid fighter, he had a questionable, like Miss Boxing Baby said, a questionable win over Oliver Diev. So Broner, by shutting him out and winning every round, I thought he looked good.
Yeah, I thought he looked real good. Amir Imam, that's the name I was thinking of. That's another tough opponent right there, and that would be a big fight. Those are the two.
Good fight.
Yeah.
Right.
Those are the two fighters at 140 that's both under Al Heyman. So Broner versus Imam, boy, that would be a hell of a fight right there. But you know, and obviously it sounds to me like Broner, he has a personal beef with Thea Payne, you know, who fights out of the Mayweather gym. I know that's not a big fight that everyone wants to see, but I think it'll be a good fight. If they can make it, I think it would be a good fight. And once again, Broner doesn't have a whole lot of options if he's not going to be fighting outside of the PBC series and what Al Heyman and all of them are doing over there. Go ahead.
The fight that I personally want to see for Broner next, like as a title defense, I think Omar Figueroa would be a good fight.
Oh yeah.
I need to see Broner in against a guy who has that pressure style. Omar Figueroa comes to bang. He has some power. He has long arms, and he's a pressure style. So, and that's a guy who just recently moved up to 140. He had a war with Ricky Burns. So, and he has a cool little fan base. I think that's a good, solid title defense that they can put on PBC, have it in Las Vegas or Texas somewhere, and then see how Broner, with the pressure style that's closer to him in size, who has power, is going to make you work. You know what I'm saying? And it'll be fun, friendly fight.
Yeah.
So that's what I would see.
I actually see him. I see that fight going just like DeMarco, because Figueroa doesn't have any defense, and he's a come forward, get hit with everything you throw. I got AB stopping him. I think he'll stop him
with a whole bunch of uppercuts.
Stop. So that would be a. If he stops him, then that would be impressive, because
great. Yeah, it's a good name. Absolutely.
Yeah, Figueroa. I interviewed his dad, and he's been in there with Edwin Valero, the late Valero. So he's been in there with some power. So if Broner was able to put together a stoppage, I think that kind of puts him back on the map, and it's fun for the fans and realistic.
Yeah, Eric Morales, what's your take on how did you rate his performance on a 1 to 10?
1 to 10, I give it a 9. Just considering the loss to Porter and bouncing back the way that he did, it showed his character and that he really loves doing the sport. He's bouncing back after every loss, wants to jump right back in there. So I'll give him a 9. I know the guy isn't well known, but he's a decent, solid fighter, and it's with the exception of maybe Lamont Peterson, there isn't many.
Yeah, Lamont Peterson. Yeah, there's not too many options out there. You're right. So let's go ahead. Morales, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. It sounded like you cut out just at the last second. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about Viktor Postol, man, the biggest upset of the weekend. And some people are saying that this could go down as one of the biggest upsets. I don't know how big of an upset it is, because a lot of people didn't know who Viktor Postol was. I mean, well, a lot of casual fans didn't know who he was. Of course, he knocked out Aydin in the same round that he knocked out Matthysse this past weekend. I actually picked Viktor Postol to win this fight. I didn't know he would dominate it that damn easy. I mean, he did. It was a very, very impressive performance. He kept his reach. It looked like Matthysse was completely confused, relying too much on the power shots. He couldn't really get close to him, and when he did get close to him, at least for the first half, Viktor Postol, he tied him up. But after the second half, he didn't even have to really rely on tying him up that much. He was controlling him with the jab. And, all night he was trying to land that sneaky right hand. And finally, that was what knocked out Matthysse in the 10th round. So I want to start with you on this, Boxingego. I want to ask you two questions. What did you think about that fight? And then also later on, I want you to answer the question, Matthysse, with him quitting and everything, he's talking, he's a little upset with the critics for calling him a quitter. But when you call yourself the machine, should you expect people to criticize you for quitting? I mean, what's your take on that, Boxingego?
As far as the performance, excellent. Superb performance by Viktor Postol. And I really like what I've seen out of him. To me, it wasn't as shocking. It was a good 50-50 fight, but I knew the danger that Postol presented with his 4-inch height advantage. So it wasn't that shocking. I mean, some people just don't know boxing and the sweet science. And Viktor Postol, his performance in a way reminded me of Lamont Peterson versus Danny Garcia. And the reason I say that is because he did not show his complete arsenal in the first 4 rounds. He kind of was evasive, clinched when he needed to, just overall boxed a bit more, caused frustration, caused Lucas Matthysse to burn himself out, burn his energy out, just like Lamont Peterson caused Danny Garcia to chase after him. And then as midway through, he started to open up with more combinations, and I think Matthysse just wasn't expecting it. Oh, wow, where did this come from? You know what I mean? He thought to chase him on that, so you're not ready for someone to pull that switch. As far as the criticism, I mean, hey, it's a brutal sport. It comes with the territory. The machine got unplugged. I like I like him, but at the same time, see, this is the thing that I don't understand in boxing. Broner jumps up 2 weight classes, fights probably the softest puncher in the division in Paulie Malignaggi. His very next fight, he goes on to one of the top 3 biggest punchers at 147. He gets knocked down, and Maidana thrashed him, right? And he still manages to get up off the canvas twice and then go the distance with him. But you hear fans bash like a Broner because they don't like it. And they say, oh, Broner, he got thrashed by Maidana. And then Matthysse quits. He doesn't get up. And they're like, oh, I still support Matthysse still. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool. It's territory. I mean, it wasn't his day. He looked visibly frustrated. And I think overall Matthysse got to a point where he's a good boxer puncher, but he's become more complacent, like not going to the body as much, not jabbing as much, and he's becoming power happy. And I tell these fans all the time, boxing is not just about how much power, how hard you can crack. It's a hell of a tool arsenal, but it's not the only thing that secures you a victory, especially when you got a guy like Viktor Postol who comes from the Ukraine school of boxing, which is, I mean, they teach you your shit, just like Postol.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. And not only that, Ego, but, I mean, if we look at the statistics, you'll notice that a lot of the aggressive fighters, a lot of the quote-unquote tough guys, those are the guys that quit the most. And those are the guys who get knocked out the most. So, I mean, when you hear...
Chavez Jr. quit, son of a legend.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Mike Tyson. Yeah. I mean, all of the quote-unquote tough guys, like they say, the bullies.
I mean, a lot of...
Yeah.
Yep.
So
it looks like to me that he quit out of frustration. I've watched that knockout over and over, and he didn't even look visibly hurt. It looked like he really quit out of frustration. He was mad because he couldn't crack the dude. He couldn't really hurt him, and he just quit.
No,
that's what that looks like to me. I mean, he got hit harder than that from a puncher into Worcester. He just didn't look hurt to me. The punch barely looked like it landed, and then he just quit.
You know,
that's what I saw.
I don't know about that because I don't know about that, Miss Boxing Baby, because he got punched in the eye, and I know a lot of times when a lot of fighters, when they get cracked with one of those shots that basically swells up their eye and they think it's an eye injury, the first thing they do is grab for their eye, and you start seeing the swelling immediately. Like I remember even when Margaret...
And that's what he did. That's what he did, but it just, I don't know, maybe it's just me. Like I said, I watched that over and over. He just looked like he was frustrated from maybe the accumulation of the whole fight. And he quit. He said it was his eye, but you know, I was shocked. You know, I picked him by knockout. I didn't see a lot of Viktor Postol. I hadn't seen him fight a lot, but I had to give respect to him because it was an upset. Because a lot of people didn't pick him to win. Not just so that they were casual fans. It doesn't always make you a casual fan when you pick your favorite. But Matthysse was the favorite.
Yeah.
You know, I thought he was going to stop him.
Yeah.
I didn't know much about Postol, but he made a believer out of me because he put on a good performance, and he upset him, and now he's a WBC champion. So respect for that.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think it was kind of a matter of attrition. There was a real short shot. The short shots that you don't see coming hurt you. And they both did some good body work throughout the fight, but I think the precision and accuracy of Viktor kind of took his toll. And because I think it was round 8. He spun him around. Matthysse got spun around with the shot and fled towards the rope. He got hurt with the shot he didn't see coming. So I think it was just a boxing clinic, you know what I mean? Exhibition and the reality of it. Matthysse wasn't. I think he thought he was going to go in there and sleep Viktor Postol. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you know, but Eric, and I'll say this, Eric, the thing to me is when it came to Lucas Matthysse, even when he fought against Danny Garcia, I noticed little things like this. Like when he got knocked down against Danny Garcia, the way he dropped, like he just dropped down real quick, like it was almost like he thought about quitting even then, the way he dropped to the ground. And that kind of told me something even in that fight. So when I seen him drop in this fight, you know, it didn't really surprise me how he just sat there and he decided not to get up. And another thing, Eric, and like I said, I'll let you speak on this, but I noticed, like I said, like I was trying to say before, Margarito, when he got cracked by Pacquiao, first thing he did was grab his eye, and then his eye started swelling up. He had the orbital bone injury, and then it was Donaire, in the 12th round when he was fighting against Guillermo Rigo. Same thing. Got cracked. That, thought it was an eye socket injury. First thing he did was kind of, grab the eye, and he started backpedaling. And then Angulo, same. All of these guys was in the ring and basically got caught the same way. It was pretty much an eye socket injury, and they all responded to it in a negative way. I don't know if I should say negative. Maybe that's a strong word. But what do you think, Eric?
I know exactly right. You stand up to the bully and you show him you're willing to stand there and take his punches. They usually cower, but I actually agree with you on he showed his frustration, and he does do that in fights that he is losing. He just looks like he's ready to give up. In that fight, it just looked like he just decided there's no way I'm going to win this. This guy's too good. I'm tired of getting punched in the face, and it looks like he just called it a day.
Wow.
But I don't think he was real hurt. He definitely was stunned and shocked, and I totally believe, he felt his eye pop or whatever the hell it was, but he just got stunned. It's unfortunate, though, because all the guys you mentioned, who you said were, guys who quit, they're also examples of very limited fighters.
That's true. That's true.
Matthysse actually surprised me because in the Provodnikov fight, I don't know if I said his name right, but he showed some boxing skill, and it surprised me because I thought it was going to be an all-out slugfest, Rocky Part 18. But instead it was Matthysse showed his skill, and in this fight, he went back to him looking like he was chasing Danny Garcia.
Yeah.
So I think he realizes he can't win. He goes for broke. He landed a couple of good left hooks in the beginning, landed a good couple of right hands, which kind of scared me a little because I had Postol winning as well. But overall, he just couldn't do it. He couldn't put it together. And when you look at Viktor Postol, 5'11" and probably 6 feet if you really measure him, 73-inch reach. I mean, he just had too many advantages.
Yeah. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But it's funny, Eric. I was just going to say, it's funny, Eric, that you brought up the fact that Lucas Matthysse, he outboxed Ruslan Provodnikov, because I'm tripping when you look at the food chain. It just shows you that there are levels to this when it comes to boxing, when it comes to the intelligence, because Lucas outboxed Provodnikov. Yeah, Lucas, he basically outboxed Provodnikov, and then Viktor Postol, he outboxed Lucas Matthysse, and I believe if Crawford got in the ring with Viktor Postol, he would outbox Viktor Postol. So it's definitely levels to this. It's just showing the different levels of boxing skills. It showed that Viktor Postol was a better boxer than Lucas Matthysse.
I think it's an example of styles make fights as well. You got certain styles where no matter what you can do, you're not going to beat it. You're just not equipped to handle it.
Yeah.
And in this case, that happened.
Yeah.
Vernon Forrest and Shane Mosley, he just had his number. Vernon Forrest was no way as skillful as Shane Mosley, but he had his number in the amateurs, he had his number in the pros. Some people just not going to beat. And to me, with Matthysse, Danny Garcia showed, who was another underdog in that fight, he showed if you box him, that's it.
Yeah.
The reason why he was able to outbox Ruslan, because Ruslan's not a boxer. He's a come forward pressure fighter.
Yeah.
He's easy to outbox.
He's very basic, just nothing but hooks left and right.
I like the Russian though, because he never tries to be anything but who he is. He never claims to be a boxer. He just is who he is. I like him, but it's easy to outbox somebody who's going to be right there to be outboxed. But Viktor, he came with fire, and I salute to him for that, because I saw picked him to be stopped late. So he's way the lead out of me.
Yeah, and
I also think it's there's a lot of times the fans will build up guys and start believing in the mystique and like the tall tale and the folklore of a certain fighter without really putting it in perspective, especially if they don't know the other person. Like some people did see Celtic Iden versus Viktor Postol. I was impressed because Iden went in there with Guerrero, and Guerrero didn't get a stoppage. It got actually kind of close towards the end. Jesus Sopra fought Iden and didn't stop him. You know what I mean? Those are considered like warrior, come forward, throw a lot of punching guys. And Viktor Postol, a guy with a limited amount of knockouts on his resume, was able to stop Iden. You know what I'm saying? So
I think he threw a record number of punches for the junior welterweight division in that fight as well.
Yeah,
I think that's true. And he just broke him down. It was just systematic. So I think a lot of times people get a little bit unrealistic from a fan's perspective. Like Matthysse, he's exciting, he's entertaining, he has power, but they're like, oh, he's going to knock Danny Garcia's head off, he's going to knock him out. And they're not really looking at the matchup and the fact that Garcia is undefeated. So to take someone's Garcia has power. Postol's 3 inches, 4 inches taller. they're not looking at the actual matchup. You know what I mean? They're kind of believing the myth of the person more so than what they've accomplished in the actual matchup you're seeing. And like Eric says, styles make fight.
Yeah, and you know, another thing to just add to what you were just saying, Boxingego, Mosley also knocking out Margarito. Nobody ever expected that. Mayweather knocking out Corrales just once again goes to show you that, you know, a lot of times these fans, they stereotype the guy with the power as the only person who can get the knockout. Like, throughout the broadcast, Jim Lampley and Max Kellerman, they were constantly saying, you know, if anyone's going to get a knockout, it's going to be Matthysse. And it was Roy Jones that was saying, I don't know. You know, you gotta wonder if Matthysse, excuse me, if he's
you
wondering.
Said Mayweather knocking out who?
Mayweather knocking out Corrales when he knocked out Diego
Corrales. I was like,
huh?
I think Morales. I was like,
No, Corrales. Yeah, but no, what I was saying
the
about
HBO commentator, I picked that up on the HBO commentary.
Yeah, they were constantly, you know, overlooking the fact that Postol can get a knockout, and it was only Roy Jones that was saying, you know, it may be Postol to get the knockout the way Matthysse keeps getting hit, you know. So it's just crazy, man. If you follow the sport, then you should already know that you don't have to be, you know, a 9 or a 10 when it comes to power to get knockouts. It's the shot that you don't see that knocks you out. Oh. And that's what happened. Matthysse got caught with a pull counter. It was a pull counter, just like a Floyd Mayweather type of counter. And he didn't see it, and it dropped him, and it was enough to basically make him quit. And speaking of making him quit, what we also learned is Lucas Matthysse, he's not mentally that strong. You know, and as we always say, this is a sport where it's more mental than it is physical most of the time, you know. So go ahead, guys.
On that subject, I just wanted to touch real quickly on the machine. It does suck that he's getting a little, his feelings are hurt. He obviously did that interview where he blasted, put on the gloves and do what I do. And, you know, and just imagine if Broner had said that, you know, pretty much everybody would be blasting the internet right now.
Absolutely.
There'd be some funny memes, so I wouldn't mind it so much because they love doing that. But with Matthysse, the one thing that I think it is she's becoming an entertainer. He's more than a boxer now. He's a celebrity. Mm-hmm. And with celebrities, you get ego. And when you got egos, he's upset that the public's no longer considering him a vicious animal. Yeah. And it's sad to say, but I that's how I feel.
Yeah, no, but I also feel, I agree with you, but I also feel he has a guilt. You know, he feels guilty, you know, just a little guilty that he did quit. I think deep down he feels like he did quit, and the fact that someone would ask him a question like that, you know, when you got that toughness, you know, you got all that testosterone, and people calling you a quitter, that's going to hurt you even more, you know. So another thing I wanted to say, one more thing.
I was going to add on real quick.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say real quick, it's big. People don't understand boxing is deeper than just the fight in the ring. They were putting Mathisse's name in the mentions of possibly getting a Pacquiao fight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think he probably was looking, you know what I mean, probably looked past Viktor Postol. Not a lot of people picked him. So I think I agree with you. He was probably embarrassed, like, man, I had a chance to get Pacquiao, and I thought I was going to go in here and knock this guy's head off. He took my best shot, and then, you know what I mean, systematically broke me down. So it's like, that's what happens when you underestimate opponents. You know what I mean? People are like, oh, Mayweather, Berto. I mean, this is boxing. Anything can technically happen, even though Berto didn't pull any rabbits out the hat or whatever fight. You know what I mean? It's boxing. It's not a foregone conclusion when you got different variables in there.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just takes one punch. I mean, look at Andy Lee and Matt Korobov. That's all it does. I mean, one punch is the entire court.
He was losing every round.
Yeah.
Every single round.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Matthysse, you know, his ego was hurt. And once again, I mean, when you're a boxer and you're a tough guy and people calling you a quitter, it's almost like they saying you got punked. You know, so he taking it pretty tough. You know, the irony of all of this, I don't know if any of you guys caught this fight. I don't watch a whole lot of UFC, but I catch some of these fights. And this past weekend, you had Daniel Cormier versus Alexander Gustafsson. And what's so crazy is in the post-fight interview, Daniel Cormier, he said something that was eerily similar to the situation that Matthysse had just went through. He said that in the second round, he caught me with a right hook, and I couldn't see the whole round. And he said, so I had to wait until my vision cleared up, right? So he's actually going through exactly what Matthysse claimed that he went through. Matthysse said that he got punched in the eye, and later on, because he didn't say it, after the fight, but later on in the post-fight press conference, he said, I couldn't see. He said, I couldn't see, and I didn't want to go blind, and basically it wasn't, I'm paraphrasing, but he was basically saying it wasn't worth, my health. Me getting back up, it wasn't worth it. And once again, when you have that tough guy reputation, for him to say, you guys shouldn't be criticizing me, and I want to see you guys get in the ring and get to where I get, you're the one that call yourself the machine. You're the one that has that tough man, type of reputation. So people are going to expect you to be tougher than the average guy who's not calling himself the machine. And when fighters say stuff like, why don't you get in the ring and why don't you get to where I am, you got to understand something. When it comes to criticizing someone, these fighters, they don't criticize when you criticize them in a positive way, but they get upset when you criticize them in a negative way. You ain't got to be a chef to know some damn food needs some more flavor. You know what I mean? And you ain't got to know how to sing to know if somebody can blow or if they can't sing worth a damn. So I just, think people should.
That's why sometimes sometimes I even got to look at myself, and you really got to show respect. Boxing is a brutal sport. These fans will turn on you. Because first you were calling him a machine, now you calling him a quitter. Come on. I still like Matthysse. I think he's still a good fighter. He just got outfought. It happened.
Yeah.
He's still a good fighter, though. But these fans will turn on you. They're so brutal. That's why I big up anybody who can get in the ring and lace them up. I'm not talking about physically, just mentally to deal with this game. The media, it's rough. These people have no cutthroat. They have no type of nothing. It's amazing.
That's exactly how it is.
There's no doubt about it, but I believe, and I could be mistaken, but I believe it was Lucas that was calling himself the machine. I don't know if fans started calling him the machine, but I believe he was calling himself that. And look, when I did my video, you guys could check it out. I did the post-fight video, and I kept saying in that video, it's not really anything wrong with him quitting. It's just the fact that a lot of fighters that are on the coincidental list, they're called cowards and they don't even quit. They're getting called cowards before they even have a chance to quit. And a lot of them have never quit before. So my whole thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me just say.
I was just going to say real quick.
Go ahead.
I don't think we should call Lucas Matthysse a coward for quitting. He was getting thoroughly annihilated. So not thoroughly, but he was getting beat. I wouldn't call him a coward. It is unfortunate he quit. But I know you're making a point on not, let's just say Broner's case, but someone else's. But I wouldn't say Lucas is a coward. He saw that he wasn't going to win, and he took his way out.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree. And I'm glad, you clarified that, which we can, pretty much all clarify it. It's not so much of him being a quitter. It's not so much of him being, or I should say it's not so much of him being a coward. Of course, obviously he's not a coward, but once again, all fighters are created equal. So so if you're gonna defend Matthysse and still say, you know what, I still got his back, I'm still riding, and this and that, and you win some, you lose some. If you could say that for this fighter, you should be able to respect, all of the fighters the same way, instead of, like I said, calling certain fighters cowards just because you personally don't like them. So you call them chicken and cowards and et cetera, et cetera. So that's the bigger point when it comes to, what Matthysse did. But all this shows is that, once again, it contradicts the ignorance that we often see posted on the internet. And that's really what this did. It was just more truth coming to light. You calling this guy, you calling Mayweather a chicken, a coward, or you may say something about Adrien Ward, calling him this and saying this guy's a runner and et cetera, et cetera. But then what happens when the guy you claim is the real fighter, what happens when he quits? That that makes you look like that contradicts everything that you guys have been saying, and I'm talking about the decafs, obviously. So anyway,
they won off of their emotion. They put all these cherries. I think Danny Garcia and Adrien Broner outside of Floyd get the most disrespect. You should see these cherries underneath their photos.
Yeah, definitely Danny Garcia. Yeah,
calling them chickens and cowards. Look at Danny Garcia's resume. I don't care if he fought a raw sucker. All your fights cannot be hard.
No.
You got a man like Triple G who ain't fought nobody in the top 10 yet, and he's still sitting on top of this pedestal. You got a man like Danny Garcia, who every fight was hard.
Yeah.
Every opponent was ranked. And then they get cherries under his name. They put cherries under Adrien Broner's name. They don't know that Adrien Broner won an immediate rematch after both of his losses. They don't know that, though.
Oh, yeah.
After he lost, he wanted to fight Maidana and Porter right after.
Yeah.
But how is he a cherry picker? I mean, these people just, they're too emotional. They don't use their brain. And they just go off of who they like.
Another thing that I noticed personally, too, is a lot of fans, like, we have to understand this is the internet age. Some people might just be dabbling with boxing. You know what I'm saying? So
a lot of them are. Yeah.
And really what I get is, like, if I haven't heard of you, like the fan, whoever the fan is, whoever I is, you're a bum. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they're like, oh, C is a bum.
Or if I don't like you. Yeah.
Yeah, K9 Bundridge is a bum. Even though he's a champion, just because he's 40 years old, you don't know who he is. You don't know about Corey Spinks. You don't know anything about him or his style. He's a bum. Viktor Postol, I see some people say, oh, easy work for Matthysse, first round knockout, and Postol's a bum. You know what I'm saying? Bring on Pacquiao. It's because that's kind of the mindset of a lot of fans. Is they don't know who you are, it's a bum. Like Deontay Wilder's last opponent, I'd be straight up. I didn't know anything about Duhapa, but that
nobody did.
There wasn't no bum.
Yeah, hard because, like, you know what I mean. I would watch him fight again because he was taking some heat and he never even went down to the canvas by a known puncher. So you know what I'm saying. Not every bum just because you haven't heard of him. Like at one point in 2008, some people didn't know who Triple G was. You know what I'm saying? So could you say he's a bum because he hadn't fought in American soil? No. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of Gennady Golovkin, that's something else I wanted to talk about. Golovkin's trainer, Abel Sanchez, he basically called Adrien Ward. He called him a liar, and he basically said that he's trying to keep his name relevant by constantly mentioning Gennady Golovkin. This is my whole take on the situation. First of all, don't all boxers try to keep themselves relevant? I mean, isn't Gennady Golovkin trying to constantly get a fight with bigger names like Cotto versus Canelo, the winner? Didn't he want to fight with Mayweather? I mean, this is the reason why they want these fights, so that they can become more relevant. Right? You beat the bigger names, you become more popular. But, when it comes to Abel Sanchez, I just think it obviously goes a lot further than that. I never really understood, how is it a guy calls you out, challenges you, and you get upset with him because he's calling you out, right? So now it's like Abel Sanchez, which is a good guy, I met him and he showed me around out there in Big Bear at his cabin. But at the same time, I don't understand why Adrien Ward hasn't said anything bad about Abel Sanchez, but when it comes to Abel, he's constantly throwing darts at Adrien Ward whenever Adrien Ward is talking about them possibly fighting. And I know now the word is, since Adrien Ward realizes he's not going to get that fight, he's talking about moving up to 175 and fighting against Sergey Kovalev. But hey, Eric Morales, give me your take on the situation. I mean, should he be upset that Adrien Ward wants that fight? Is he just trying to, be relevant and, and use his name like Abel Sanchez is saying? Speak on it, Morales.
I think it's probably a little of both. Adrien Ward, even though everyone in the world knows that he's a great boxer, we have to face facts. He's only fought once in 2 years, 3 years? And so that's kind of the relevancy I guess they're referring to. Can you hear me here?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, but yeah, I think it's a little of both. I'm not sure which side to take on this one. I think Adrien Ward should be the #1 boxer on the pound for pound list. Him or Rigondeaux, I'm not sure which, but they flip a coin and they decide. But I'll tell you what, I don't know if Adrien Ward has a solid case in asking for this fight, simply because he hasn't fought in a long time. Not a lot of people are asking for his fights. No one's really clamoring up and asking for that. I think he needs to put his name up more. But I will say this. We all know at the same time that he's been begging to fight Golovkin now for a while. So to say that he waited until after the Lemieux fight, I'm skeptical on that.
Yeah. Well, see, that's my thing. I got to disagree with you on that one just a little bit, Morales, because my whole thing is Adrien Ward, he's been considered pound for pound number 2,
Great
right
fighter.
behind Floyd Mayweather for a very long time. So my whole thing is, if Gennady Golovkin hasn't fought anyone, and he wants to be considered the best fighter in the world, he doesn't want people to say he's overrated and he's only fought, fighters like, the Rubios, the Monroes, the Lemieux, and et cetera, et cetera. It seems like he would be begging Ward for that fight just to prove to people that he's better than Ward. Because if he fought Ward today, people would all be, and let's just say hypothetically, if Golovkin was good enough to beat Andre Ward and he beat him, everyone would be praising Golovkin so much. Then they would start praising Ward because Ward has already gotten beaten. They would say, oh, man, Golovkin, he be pound for pound the best fighter, et cetera, et cetera. They're not going to say stuff like, well, I won't give him that much credit because, Ward didn't really deserve the fight anyway, et cetera, et cetera. They're going to give him all the credit in the world. And when it comes to, saying that Andre Ward is inactive, I don't think we could, because it's easy. It sounds much worse, obviously, when you say he's had like only 2 fights or 1 fight in the last 2-3 years. No, I think we have to look at what's going on right now. And right now he is active because he fought about 4 or 5 months ago, whatever it was. He's supposed to be fighting on the Canelo versus
June 20th.
Cotto. Yeah. What'd you say? Oh, that's when he fought. Okay, so
June 20th.
Boxingego was there live, matter of fact. And now he's supposed to be fighting on the Canelo Cotto undercard. So today he is active. That's kind of like almost like me saying I can't, really say Viktor Postol is, the best or one of the best at the division because a year ago he wasn't. A year ago he was doing this. No, we grading these guys from what they are doing today. So right now Andre Ward is active. We can only really say he's inactive when he didn't have a fight scheduled and when he was still taking a year off. But no, he's about to have his second fight this year. Once again, Floyd Mayweather, he fought twice a year, and we still called him pound for pound the best fighter in the world. So Andre Ward is going to fight twice this year. So I don't even think we can use the inactive excuse anymore. And I believe that if Golovkin, if he really wants to be considered one of the best in the world, he should be begging Andre Ward for that fight, just like he was begging to fight against Floyd Mayweather. Go ahead, Moose.
Oh, go ahead. I was just going to just one more second. It's not like Golovkin's the main pay-per-view attraction either. Don't get me wrong when I'm saying that. I'm just saying it's not going to have the hype that it would had Andre, let's say if they had fought after a Chad Dawson victory. It would have had much better hype, and that's what I think they need to build for a fight that big, or else might as well just put it on the Friday night fights and let Teddy Atlas announce.
Oh, no, that'll be, no, but Morales, you do agree with me. But Morales, real quick. Morales, you do agree with me that if Ward fought Golovkin right now, it would be the biggest fight for both of them. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Okay. That's the best fight that can be made for both guys.
Okay.
But this
well, maybe not. Golovkin versus Cotto or Canelo would make more money than Golovkin versus Ward. However,
I agree with you on that. I think it'll be close. Go ahead, guys.
Okay, listen to this real quick. People keep saying Ward needs to fight Kovalev, and Triple G's a bigger star. So that doesn't make sense right there.
Absolutely.
Like, Kovalev is a great fighter, but Kovalev doesn't have the star power that Triple G currently has. So it doesn't make sense for people to say that Triple G Ward is a smaller fight, but Ward need to fight Kovalev, who is a hell of a fighter. That's a dangerous fight, but Kovalev doesn't have the star power and the Mexican style. And yeah, guys, he doesn't have that.
Hey, I'm Mexican. I take offense to that.
The bottom line is Abel Sanchez,
Gigi started that.
Don't want any parts of Andre Ward.
That's true, and that's true.
I don't care how we dissect it, how we cut it. They don't want no parts of Andre Ward because you can't tell me that man should not be the number one pound for pound. It's the fans and these casual. I even call the commentators casual because there's no way in the world
there's a lot of them.
Triple G should be as high as he is on the Ring Magazine list when he ain't fought nobody. And you look at Andre Ward. Look at this man's resume. He won the Super 6. Did we forget about that?
Yeah.
He beat Carl Froch. He was the underdog in that whole tournament and beat everybody.
And when
I don't want to hear his name. That's what Abel and Triple G trying to use. His name's not big enough. The bottom line is, if I can keep fooling these fans, but with the delusion that I'm that good, I can call out the smaller dude in Floyd Mayweather. Then I can just keep making up excuses saying why I don't want to fight Andre Ward, and it's working. So why would I stop?
Yeah.
You don't want to fight Andre Ward, but you wait. Hold on. You don't want to fight Andre Ward, but you fought a Willie Monroe Jr. with 6 knockouts. Come on, man. Stop it. Andre Ward's name is not big, but Willie Monroe Jr. name is. You can't feed me the bullshit, man. Come on.
And the other thing is, people want to dwell on the misfortune. Like if Mikey Garcia came back and fought Matthysse right now, he's back active. So I'm not going to say, oh, Mikey Garcia didn't fight for a year and a half because of top rank, because he's back active. Same thing with Andre Ward. That his last fight, June 20th. So the bringing up the inactivity really doesn't hold any merit because he's already made his return. He has a new deal. He's out of the old deal that he was unsatisfied with. He's already had to shoulder the rehab. And Dante, this is the question that I pose to everyone. Not one person has answered this for me. You know what that is?
What is it?
What?
Andre Ward, I agree with everybody. He's been inactive. Tell me why the person that fought one time in 3 years or whatever people keep bringing up has a better resume than the person fighting 3 or 4 times each year for the last couple of years in Triple G.
Thank you.
That makes no sense.
I can answer that real networks. The networks actually. Back when the Super 6 was made, a bunch of different promoters agreed to work together. In this case, none of them are.
Yeah, but even after the Super 6, he fought.
Your resume. There's Triple G could have fought other people.
Yeah, he could have. But even after the Super 6,
he doesn't have to. They're not making him fight other people. They're accepting him fighting these guys. You can't tell me that Andre Ward's name is not big. And no disrespect to Willie Monroe, I love that dude, but his name is, and it's okay for you for the fans to root for that fight. But they say Andre Ward needs to have a few more fights before he can fight Triple G. Do you know who he is? And who he's fought? And to me, a man like David Lemieux, honestly, to me, is not a 33-0 type fight pay-per-view. Come on now. He should have been fought with the likes of David Lemieux. At 33-0, he should have been stepped his game up. And David Lemieux is not a step up.
No.
At 33-0, I'm sorry.
Dante, if me and you worked at McDonald's, and I'm talking about, I worked at McDonald's for 6 years, you're only on your 90th day, but you're getting more money than me, you're getting promoted more than me, and that's a problem. How come I've been there for 6 years, and you're making more, and you're getting promoted and recognized?
Seniority.
You look at Andre Ward's resume, and there's no reason a guy who's inactive as he has been should have a better resume for any reason. Yes, Super 6 helped, but Chad Dawson wasn't in the Super 6.
No.
Wasn't in the Super 6.
Yeah, you beat me to it. You beat me to it with Chad Dawson. You go ahead.
Well, they were also, but Chad Dawson was also signed with HBO, so they were both HBO fighters. Therefore, had the quickness to fight each other.
It changes the fact that it's a resume. That's the name on his resume for whatever reason.
Yeah, he could have.
On paper.
Hey, Morales. The bottom line is
you go to BoxRec. It's there.
Yeah, it's there, exactly.
No.
Even if we
the
put a
mistake I'm making is that I disagree with you. Just showing you why that the better resume is given from guys from the past years rather than today's guys. When you're looking to today's guys who are getting shots, you're seeing a lot of no names, even title shots. The Hoopus or whatever his name is. No one knows this guy, but he's getting title shots. This never used to happen before.
Yeah, but the thing is, Golovkin.
I don't care if Andre Ward fought for K2 Promotions. They still would not make that fight because he cannot beat this dude. Any way you try to say it, he can't beat Andre Ward. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna call out the smaller cash cow and Floyd Mayweather, and then I'm a fool of fans into thinking that Floyd Mayweather is a coward for not fighting me because I'm just that tough for not looking at Floyd's resume. Forget the fact that I haven't moved up to fight Andre Ward. Nobody talks about that, but they call Floyd a coward for not moving up 2 weight classes to fight Triple G. And he don't have to.
Here's another thing. Here's another thing real quick. Everybody's affected by the political landscape of boxing. PBC don't work with Top Rank or Gold, whatever the situation is. But I still put Terrence Crawford on my top 10 because he fought Tempo and Rank worked with SMS Promotion. They also went Crawford, he burned. So there's still no excuse because Top Rank, they have a limited stable too. But I still rank Terrence Crawford because he faced a name for his division that's going to get him where he needs to be. Triple G, in my opinion, is a hell of a fighter. He has potential, but he hasn't fought the name for whatever reason. Everybody's affected by the political landscape of boxing. There's no getting around that.
And let me go ahead and just say this. I got to say a couple things. Hopefully I don't forget now. But first of all, you could put a gun to someone's head and force them to fight all the best fighters in the world. right? If I put a gun in someone's head and he fought all the best fighters in the world and he beat them all, you can't say, whoa, we can't give him all that credit because he was forced to fight all of the best fighters. Like Ego just said, it's on your resume. You know, so you can't really change that. Another thing I want to say is when it comes to Golovkin, Morales, you was talking about how earlier, it won't be a big fight. It'll be like on Friday Night Fights, you know, maybe if they were to fight Golovkin versus Ward. But just think about this. Golovkin is fighting against Lemieux, and it's on pay-per-view. You know what I mean? It's on pay-per-view.
I didn't really.
So
I didn't like that too much. That was very disappointing to hear.
I know, but but it's the fact. It's the fact that they're pushing it. It's the fact that they're pushing it. Yeah, I don't like it on pay-per-view, but it's the fact that they are pushing it like it is a huge fight. So if they can push this fight, if the promoter feels that this is the time to make Golovkin a star, then they could have felt the same way with him fighting against Adrien Ward. And Adrien Ward is not the only fighter that would have helped him build his credibility when it comes to fighting against better competition. He could have also fought against Erislandy Lara. Erislandy Lara, you know, arguably beat Canelo Alvarez, you know, and a lot of people always say, oh, Floyd should fight, you know, Erislandy Lara, like he's this big boogeyman and he's the best, right? We know that Erislandy Lara is one of the best fighters in the world right now. So if Gennady Golovkin is going to fight a southpaw who moves around the ring, why pick the one with 6 knockouts like Willie Monroe when he could have fought the southpaw who had a name and would have been a much bigger fighter would have been a much bigger fight because Lara made $1 million fighting against Canelo Alvarez, and he fought on pay-per-view already. You know, so it's not just Adrien Ward. You know, Tom Loeffler and Team Golovkin, they have been very careful with certain opponents, you know. But at the same time, I give Golovkin credit because there have been fighters that have ducked him as well, you know. But at the same time, if you got some dudes over here ducking you, but then you have this other group of cats and say, you know what, Golovkin, if they're not gonna fight you, we'll fight you. Then that seems like that would be the natural, you know, next step. It's to fight the guys who do want to fight you. We got 2 minutes left. Yeah. Go ahead and throw something in real quick, guys.
I'm still not
seconds. Oh, we got less than a minute left, guys. Real quick.
Sorry.
Go ahead, guys.
I was going to just say, just based on the political landscape of boxing, that should be even more reason, since you are limited, to fight a guy like Adrien Ward to get your credibility up.
Yeah.
Because Rock Nation and K2, to my knowledge, don't have any problem working together. So, you know, you can't. Triple G versus Quillen or something, Danny Jacobs might be harder to make because of the lawsuits and stuff like that. So you have to work with what you're given, the scraps you're given, period. So, you know what I mean? That's even more reason, since you have a limited pool based on the political beefs in boxing, the Cold War and stuff. So there's really no excuse for Triple G to cheat it.
But they're not making him do it. They're not making him do it. Just like they got behind Floyd and you need to fight Pacquiao, you a coward. They want to. He ain't fought nobody in 33 fights. They're not doing this.
Yeah, and he's gonna have to. All right, guys.
We had the political beef anyway.
Yeah, and we obviously gonna have to continue this conversation, you know. But anyway, we out of time, guys. I want to thank my team as always. Eric Morales, you guys check his YouTube channel out. It is Counterpunch. My man Boxingego, and my girl Miss Boxing Baby, who's also a PR now. She's representing all the boxers out there as well and talking to boxing. So check her out. And she's a boxing writer. Check her articles out on nationboxing.com. We'll see you guys next week. We're on to the next one.